Welcome back, fiber artists and people who just want to learn a little bit more about the fiber in their lives. This is Piano Spun Yarns, and this is day 5 of the World of Wool Advent Calendar. Today we're going to be opening up bag number 5, which is from Finland, and our tradition of the day is called the Almond Within. There's not a lot to say about this tradition. It's really short and sweet, so I thought today maybe I would try to get a little bit more of the spinning wheel in frame so that you can really see the setup of the Daedalus Martin. You might also notice that I have changed location. This is a little bit more centralized in my apartment, which means hopefully we won't get so much car noise, although I definitely hear a cat having the zoomies, so it might be more of a lateral move. The blend for day 5 is Finnish wool and mulberry silk, so another really easy one. I think by Finnish they might mean Finn sheep, a Finn fleece. Mulberry silk, I couldn't really find any connection between mulberry silk and Finland, but it is going to help make this blend really luxurious. Because it's called the Almond Within, I kind of expect to see some almond colors, but we'll see when we open it. So not what I was expecting. We do have this white base of Finnish wool. Whether it's a native breed to Finland or a Finn sheep, I can't be sure. But our mulberry silk, we have it in shades of pink and purple. It's harder to find the purple spots. There's one. Striped through. And they're kind of hidden inside the top itself, which kind of relates to our tradition of the day, which we'll talk about when I spin up the wool. First, I'm going to show you my progress on the coat. Oh, actually, first, I'm going to pull the motif of the day. It's really hard to see the sticker, but this is day 5's motif. Ooh. And it's another kind of simple geometric pattern. Yesterday we had argyle, and this is a really similar type geometric or diamond-based pattern, so they'll look really nice together. I also think that this new top is going to work well with our kind of gray toned yarn from yesterday. So again, we're going to be able to do the motif with today's color and yesterday's color, which was my plan from the beginning. So that is beautiful. I feel like every day I come back to show the coat off, I have like a new idea for what I want it to be, which makes sense. I'm knitting it as I go. I'm kind of creating the pattern as I go. I'm sort of creating the pattern as I go, so if things change, that's to be expected. The coat has just gotten past my waistline, so on the next color motif, I'm going to add 24 stitches to start that kind of A-line elongating shape. And I'm also realizing that the motifs are a little bit bigger than I thought they'd be. So this kind of oatmeal gray, that's the start of the Advent part of the coat. Before that, it's all pre-done. But just this section is 4 days, and it's 10 inches tall. So I'm thinking if I have to do 16. If I have to do 20 more days, I'm gonna have 5 repeats of 10 inches. That might be way longer than I was even expecting it to be. That might drag on the floor. So I'm thinking that if I reach a point where I still have a few days left and I'm ready to end the coat, I could instead pick up the motifs on the sleeves. So then I would be able to have motifs going down the sleeves too. They would just be the later days in the calendar. So I'll have to stay tuned for that one, but it's definitely an idea. So I'm going to leave the sleeves undone for now, and we'll see how long this ends up getting. I'm going to set up, or try to set up, the spinning wheel today in a way where you can see the marten in action. So this is the Daedalus marten. I am admittedly a huge fan of electric wheels. Before this one, I owned the Woolly Ann, the electric eel wheel 6, and both versions of the electric eel wheel Nano. I bought this, even though I love all those wheels, because I really wanted something that was compact and ready to travel. This wheel is actually built into the case that you see here, and you can pack up this case, fold it, and put it away with a bobbin, 4 ounces of fiber, and the built-in Lazy Kate, all stored inside the box, which folds up to a little square. The built-in Lazy Kate comes with 2 of the acre rods and I don't know what you would call this little piece. It has a tensi tamer that you can hook up to it, but I usually don't. And then along the side are 4 openings, so you could have up to 4 of these rods going at one time if you felt adventurous. I usually chain ply, so I've only ever got 1 going at a time. I do tend to use my Woolly Ann as a ply wheel because it's got the woolly winder built in, so it's so fast to do a ply job. I'm going to get a little bit of this started, and then I'll tell you about today's tradition, which really is short and sweet. There's not a lot to say about it. I have a good place to put my arm here. So like most places in the world, Finland has traditional Christmas foods. And one of those traditional Christmas foods is a Christmas rice pudding, or sometimes I heard it referred to as a rice porridge. This is a simple, milk and vanilla based porridge with cinnamon on top. But the tradition of the almond within comes from the idea that in the porridge pot you would place 1 single almond, and the person who found the almond in their porridge would have good luck and success for the entire year. It reminds me of the tradition of lucky bean bread, which is something I have done before, but I had never heard of almond within porridge. That's really it. It's super sweet. All you do is hope you get the almond, and if you do, you're the lucky one. I don't know what else to say. The wool and the silk here spins so differently. The wool has a really natural draft, and when you get to the silk, it just kind of all wants to snag together. So I'm getting these big bright stripes of mulberry silk, and then we go back to the fin sheep. So I think this will probably end up having a striped effect, even though I don't really want it to. It's just because of the difference in staple lengths and fiber qualities that make the silk want to spin together and the wool want to spin together. And they're not really blended well enough to stop that from happening. I'm just going to stop here to catch a sample. Because my sample will be chain plied, I'll just bring it back on itself thrice so that I have 3 strands. And then I just twist them between my thumb and forefinger until I think they're ready to let go. It's a little thicker than the sportish weight I'm looking for, so I'll spin it a tiny bit thinner. There's a real bubblegum quality coming through here. I hope you can see it. I can't see to make sure the camera's focusing. I hope it did. And if it didn't, you'll see this yarn when I come back later. This is the finished day 5 yarn. The colors remind me a lot of like the Barbie movie, almost. It also is scratchier than I imagined while I was spinning it. It felt much softer to spin than the finished yarn is. But that could also be because I wasn't paying as close attention while plying, and this one is a little over plied, so that could also be part of the issue. But overall, it's going to be a fun addition to the color work. Look at those stripes. Thank you again for joining me on day 5 of World of Wool's Advent, and I'll see you tomorrow, December 6th, to see what wool we get next. Bye.